coming back to the topic of self-centeredness. We live in a very self-centered world, but a truly feminine woman, she's not gonna take like 3 hours to get herself ready every single day, because 2 of those hours could be spent serving the community. You wanna be a well-balanced feminine woman. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for contributing to the femininity revolution. I feel so blessed to have you here. I feel so blessed to be able to talk to you and to be able to share in our femininity growth together. If you are new to my channel, there is a special button down below. It is the same color as my shirt. I guess on camera my shirt looks a little bit orange. It is a red button. It is a subscribe button, and it's going to help you join our community of feminine women who also like to talk about homemaking. My name is Cynthia. I'm a millennial homemaker and I'm a former Miss Earth Canada, so I have a lot of experience in ladylike living, in etiquette, and all of that fun jazz, etc., etc. Today we're going to talk about a deeper aspect of femininity. We are going to talk about how to be nurturing. As much as the more superficial aspects of femininity are fun, I could talk about how to do your hair, I could talk about how to dress for hours and hours. I do believe that one of the ways that we bless people in this life is to show the deeper qualities of femininity, the longer lasting qualities of femininity, and nurturing is one of those things. Nurturing is one of the ways that we bless the world, we bless other people, and we bless ourselves. It's one of the ways that we inspire people to be softer. My videos are not completely comprehensive, or else I would be here talking to you for hours and hours. These are just some points that are going to help begin the conversation, so I would love it if you would leave a comment down below on how you have become a more nurturing feminine woman, or how you intend to do so. Before we start the video though, before I get into my quick tips, I wanted to clarify the definition of nurturing, which deals with tending to and caring for something or someone. That being said, let me get into my first category, which is self-nurturing. Like I briefly mentioned, the superficial aspects of femininity are so fun, but you should not be spending hours and hours and hours on self-care every single day, because you're never going to be able to develop your character to a way in which it's actually going to bless other people with your femininity. We are going to go through so many tough life experiences. That is just a part of the human experience, and that is why we have religion, faith, and all of those deeper elements of life to help us go through those things. And for that reason, as you age, as you lose money, as you're not going to be able to invest so much time in your self-care, what are the aspects of femininity that are going to be everlasting? Nurturing is one of those aspects. So in order to nurture other people, you have to self-nurture yourself. One of the most important ways that you can do this is that you need to understand the things that are impeding you from being a selfless woman. Have you gone through trauma? Are you prone to jealousy, negativity? Have you suffered some emotional abuse? We are not always in control of the life circumstances of the parents that we've had, or of the tendency that the modern world really has to influence the way in which we live our lives. The important part is to be able to understand those things in order to be able to grasp the negative qualities that we might have, and to be able to begin working on those things. I know that not a lot of people are keen on therapy, but I do really think myself, having had a therapist, this can really help you. If you are hesitant because so many therapists subscribe to a more modern type of psychology, you can seek religious counselors or whatever type of counselor and help that is in line with your own belief. There are also workbooks. I'm going to try to find some and link them down below, where you can try to identify those negative characteristics and those negative life experiences, and you can start unpacking those emotions in a more one-on-one personal, intimate setting with yourself. I've also talked about in my video on how to be sophisticated, which I will also link commenting down below that you want to try to nurture yourself through nurturing your mind. The reason why it's important to nurture your mind is that nurturing your mind really helps you self-discover the world, the phenomenon in the world, helps you better understand people, and this will put you in a more positive spirit and a more childlike feminine spirit to be able to share this joy with other people. The next way that you can be a nurturing feminine woman is, of course, through your relationships. Do you have good conversation skills? Do you have good listening skills? Are you able to apply proper etiquette? I have made videos before on how to have good conversation, how to speak like a lady, feminine speaking. I'm also going to link those down below. I really encourage you to watch those. They're older videos, but the tips in them are really going to help you. I think that nowadays we are too focused on the little things that people are saying, and we're looking for minor differences in order to disagree with them. This is not a very nurturing perspective, and what we should instead be focusing on as feminine women in order to nurture our relationships and conversation is the bigger picture and the bigger emotion of what somebody is trying to convey to us. One of the easiest ways to get clarification on this is to actually repeat what that person is saying, and you can ask them a question to clarify what they are meaning. This does not make you a dumb person if you don't totally understand what somebody is saying. This is going to show them, if anything, interest in what they are talking about. And when they feel that you are interested in what they are talking about, they are going to be more prone to divulge information, and it's going to help you make a better connection with them. Another point that I want to make is I want for you to really reflect on if you have too many temporary friendships. The nurturing feminine woman is very preoccupied with nurturing her lifelong friendships. Now, I understand that there are life circumstances, boundaries that you have had to make with other people, places that you might have had to move, but do you have relationships that don't last more than a year if you are somebody who is not totally transient? This will be a good indicator if you are actually nurturing the friendships that come into your life and if you are actually really thankful for them. I think that people are a little bit too preoccupied with the types of friends that are going to make them look good or that are going to help them advance in society. And like I've talked about in my How to Be Sophisticated video, you can make new friends when you have adopted a new lifestyle without getting rid of your old friends. And two more points that I want to make on the topic of relationships. The first being your more intimate relationship, for example, your marriage. Conflict resolution in terms of compromise isn't as successful. This also goes back to my topic of collaboration that I harp on every single video. Collaboration is very feminine. You want to collaborate in every single relationship that you possibly can in your life, because as feminine women, we are not meant to live our life as a sole singular person. This does not mean that you have to completely get married. This just means that you want to have a relationship with somebody else, even if that is your friendships, your family relationships, where you are able to collaborate together and find solutions. So when you are in a conflict with your husband, for example, finding a compromise is not as successful as collaborating together to find a new solution, because in compromise, both people have to give up something. And in collaboration, both people are coming together to create a new solution. And you get what I did right there? Creativity is another one of those more intimate and integral character traits of femininity. You are going to nurture together a solution. The next point that I want to talk to you about is the world. How do you nurture the world? You might not think that you have a lot of gifts and talents, but I guarantee that you do. I want you to, once this video is over, write down your gifts and talents. You do not have to be perfect at everything you do. I do not have a perfect public speaking persona to make these YouTube videos, but I do think that conveying my information through speech is perhaps one of my strengths. I'm coming back to the topic of self-centeredness. We live in a very self-centered world, but a truly feminine woman, she's not going to take like 3 hours to get herself ready every single day, because 2 of those hours could be spent serving the community. You want to be a well-balanced feminine woman, and you don't always want to live your life in the masculine lens of acquiring resources. Masculinity is of course so important in this world, and I'm so thankful for it, but so many of us are wrapped into what we can do to make money. I encourage you not to lead your life looking for opportunities everywhere where you can make money. Try instead looking at your skills, your gifts and talents, and how you can bless the world that way. The world needs your feminine energy. The world needs you to nurture it, to tend to a community project, to do some selfless work, to know your neighbors, to become involved and offer your voice as a woman in your community. If you are only focused on yourself, you will not be able to do this. The last thing that I want you to do to focus on nurturing as a feminine woman is to consider your environment. We live in a world that devalues homemaking, that devalues housewifery. You can just see it in a reflection of what people get paid for these tasks. But I want you to understand that as a feminine woman, caring for your environment is one of the ways that you will spark nurturing in yourself. Homemaking is so valuable because it doesn't just mean cleaning. It means taking into account the interests of yourself as well as your family and putting that feminine touch on the things that you do. It shows care in their needs and their interests and what helps them feel comfortable in order to be able to go out into the world and do their best work as well. Stop putting off those neglected parts of your house. Stop putting off the things that you need to clean. Stop putting off cooking proper meals because you're only doing a detriment to yourself. When you begin reframing the way in which you think about homemaking and tending to your environment, you are going to blossom as a nurturing woman because you're going to see every act that you do as an expression of your femininity. If you are also a Christian woman, I assume that it also applies to other religions, but I am not another religion. That's why I always have to put that little disclaimer. But one of the ways that I began being able to reframe my thinking in terms of my housework was that everything that I want to do in my house, I want to give it up to God. I don't just do it for myself, but I do it for God, to bring glory to God. And that was one of the first steps that led me into really valuing the nurturing that I put into my homemaking. So those are all the things that I had to say today. I'm sorry for my awkward hair throughout the video. We are in a weird stage of my hair, but I hope that you could have enjoyed this video. Nevertheless, the information that I had presented to you on how to be a nurturing feminine woman, and I would love to know, again, like I mentioned before, the things that you have done, the things that you do in order to develop your nurturing side. I look forward to our next video, lovely feminine women. I am so excited for this channel. I'm so happy that some people listen to me. It means a lot to me. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, please follow me there because you're able to see my everyday life as a housewife. Love you all.